She replaced me overnight, said I was holding her back, traded my struggle for someone else's salary. I didn't beg. I didn't argue. I just disappeared and built the company she used to worship. Now I sit in the corner office of her dream job, signing decisions she'll never be invited to make. She walked away from the man I was and returned to a world owned by the man she never saw coming. When you're building something small, people say they believe in you. They clap for your dreams, smile at your plans, talk about faith and future, until building gets messy, until dreams start looking like debts, until the future feels farther than it should. Sophia and I had been together for 3 years, met in college, graduated side by side, made promises at midnight that someday we'd own the world. She was smarter than me, sharper, the kind of person who made you feel like ambition was breathing. At first, she cheered the loudest when I joined a scrappy startup, when I slept in the office, when I missed weekends, when I worked 2 jobs just to pay rent and still invest in myself. She said, "This is temporary. One day we'll look back and laugh." But temporary got longer. The startup missed a funding round, salaries got delayed, pressure mounted, and suddenly every small thing I loved about her became a list of what I couldn't give her. It started with little comments. "You should have picked something safer. I thought you'd be further by now. Maybe some people just aren't meant to build." I laughed them off, made excuses for both of us, blamed stress, blamed the economy, blamed time. But late one Thursday night, I came home after another brutal 16-hour day, and the apartment was quiet, too quiet, a half-packed bag by the door, a handwritten note on the counter, not even a text, just a note. "I can't do this anymore. I need stability. I need more." And under it, almost like a final kick, "I've accepted an offer to move in with Daniel." Daniel. Mid-level operations lead at a venture corporation. The company she used to talk about like it was heaven on earth. No goodbye, no conversation, just a trade-in, from broken dreams to branded paychecks. I sat on the floor that night for a long time. No yelling, no punching walls, just stillness. Because sometimes when betrayal hits you that hard, it doesn't burn, it freezes. The next morning I opened Instagram. There she was, big smile, glittering wine glasses, a caption that said, "New beginnings with the right people." I laughed once, bitter, short, then turned the phone off. She didn't just leave. She chose a safer bet, a bigger logo, a shinier future. She didn't walk away because she stopped loving me. She walked away because she stopped believing I was enough to get her where she wanted to go. And maybe she was right. Maybe back then I wasn't enough. But betrayal, it does something to you. It digs a pit inside your chest. And if you're not careful, you fill it with anger, with regret, with comparisons, with bitterness. But if you're careful, if you're quiet, if you're patient, you fill it with something else, fuel. She thought she was walking toward a better future. She didn't realize she was showing me exactly where to build mine. I didn't post about it, didn't rant, didn't sub-tweet, didn't even tell my closest friends how badly it hurt. Because pain like that, you either let it rot you from the inside or you let it rebuild you. I chose to rebuild. First step, silence. No late night calls, no what ifs, no tracking who she was dating, where she was working, what she was posting. I erased her like she erased me. Then came the hard part. Starting over. New job. Junior analyst at a boring logistics firm no one talked about. Less pay, more hours, no glamour, perfect. Because no one expects much from the guy they think is rebuilding his life from scraps, which means you get to move without being watched. I started stacking skills, data modeling, operational leadership, negotiation, spent weekends buried in certification programs and case studies, built my mind while everyone else was building profiles. I made myself a student again, and the world ironically became my best teacher. While Sophia flaunted vacations and luxury brunches, I was studying the companies she idolized, learning their cracks, finding their weak spots, understanding what made them grow and what made them rot from the inside. I wasn't chasing titles anymore. I wasn't chasing approval. I was chasing ownership. By year 2, I had outgrown my first job, moved to a better firm, bigger clients, better exposure. People started noticing. Small awards, speaking invites, consulting calls, all under the radar, all without a press release. Because when you rebuild right, you don't announce it. You show up one day and the world realizes you never left. I never once looked back at Sophia, not because I didn't care, but because I finally understood. The ones who walk away early just clear the road faster for the ones who were meant to stay. And somewhere out there, she was chasing dreams inside glass buildings she thought would save her, while I was getting ready to own the one she worshipped from a distance. 3 years passed, no noise, no drama, just growth, real, strategic, relentless. I wasn't famous, didn't go viral, didn't become an influencer. I just became effective. The industry started noticing, not because I talked louder, but because the companies I worked for stopped bleeding, started winning, because the systems I built didn't need press. They just produced results. One day my phone rang, unknown number. I almost ignored it. Hi, this is Rebecca Lynn from Aventra Corp. We were referred to you through an internal contact. Are you open to a conversation? I froze for half a second. Aventra, her dream company, the one she used to talk about like it was some golden gate to the life she deserved. Sure, I said. I'm listening. The meeting was short. Their operations were bleeding, leadership unstable, morale low, competitors creeping in. They weren't looking for someone flashy. They were looking for someone who could fix what others failed to notice. 3 weeks later, they offered me the job, Executive Director of Strategic Operations. Not quite the top, but one level away. I accepted, quietly. No LinkedIn post, no humbled to announce statement, just a signature. Day 1, I walked into the building she once used as her measuring stick. Same glass walls, same polished floors. Only now, they reflected my shadow. I took the seat, fixed the problems, stabilized the losses. Revenue improved, turnover dropped. The board noticed. So did everyone else. 6 months later, I got the call. Internal promotion, unanimous vote, no contest. CEO. I didn't throw a party. I didn't call anyone. I just walked into the corner office and sat in the chair she once pointed at from a distance and said, "That's where people like me are meant to be." The funny part? She wasn't even in the building anymore. She'd left a year earlier for another step up, only to be laid off 2 months later in a round of budget cuts. She had chased logos. I had built legacy. I didn't reach the top to prove anything. I got there because she gave me the map when she left. And now, I run the place she never thought I'd enter. It happened at a networking event, one of those polished rooftop gatherings, soft music, string lights, laughter floating over glasses of champagne. I wasn't supposed to stay long, show face, shake hands, move on. But fate had a different plan. Across the patio, standing near the edge of the crowd, was Sophia. Same sharp dress sense, same perfect posture, but different eyes. Eyes that scanned every face until they landed on mine. Her mouth opened slightly, like she wasn't sure if it was really me. Because the last version of me she saw was still building, still struggling, still hoping someone would believe in him. She hesitated, then crossed the floor like nothing had ever happened. Fake smile practiced in the mirror. That same tilt of the head she used to use when she wanted something. "Sam? Wow," she said too brightly. "It's been forever." I nodded, calm, steady. She glanced around like she was searching for witnesses, someone to validate that she still mattered here. "I heard you're at Aventra now," she said carefully. I smiled. "Something like that." She laughed, nervous, quick. Crazy, right? I always said you had potential, as if she'd written it into existence, as if she hadn't walked away the second it got hard. Yeah, I said quietly. Sometimes it just takes the right vacancy to realize it. Her eyes flickered. She heard it. She understood. Even if she didn't want to admit it, she tried to recover. We should catch up sometime. It'd be great to hear how you've been. I looked at her. Really looked. At the person who once measured me by the size of my salary. At the person who thought loyalty expired when ambition didn't move fast enough. I smiled again. Genuine, calm, the kind of smile that doesn't need words. Maybe someday, I said. Not cruel, not angry, just final. Then I turned away, back into a circle of CEOs, investors, and leaders who knew exactly who I was. I didn't owe her a conversation. I didn't owe her a story, because the truth was already written in every headline she wasn't a part of. After the rooftop encounter, I didn't think about Sophia again. Not because I didn't care, but because she no longer lived in the part of my life that mattered. I wasn't climbing to prove anything anymore. I was building something solid, something quiet, something permanent. Each floor I redesigned at Aventra carried my fingerprints. New mentorship programs, equity for junior staff, flexible hours for single parents, things no one gave me when I started, things she wouldn't have even noticed. The same corner office she once pointed to, I now barely used, not because I didn't earn it, but because I didn't need it to feel powerful. My presence didn't come from the office. The office existed because of my presence. Investors respected me now, not because I sold them a dream, but because I executed one. Team morale was up. Client retention doubled. We stopped talking about survival. We started talking about scale. And the best part? No one even asked about who helped me get here, because there wasn't anyone. Just long nights, silent mornings, missed birthdays, and focus. I started getting speaking invites. One day I was asked to deliver a keynote at a conference. Topic: sustainable leadership and what it means to build from rock bottom. I smiled when I read it, because most people want to build on comfort, but I built on what was left after she walked away. On stage, I didn't name names. I didn't drop subtle jabs. I didn't need to, because real power doesn't remind people who doubted you. It makes them live with the fact that you never needed them. I didn't want her to fail. I just didn't want her to still believe she was the best part of my beginning. She wasn't. She was the spark that lit the match. But I was the one who carried the fire forward. Now, she scrolls past headlines with my name, reads reports about our quarterly growth, watches the company she once admired move into markets she'll never touch. And I don't need to say a thing, because her silence is the loudest compliment I'll ever get. I used to think success would feel like a shout, like standing at the top of something tall, looking down and waiting for everyone who doubted you to finally clap. But it's not like that. Success, it feels like stillness. The kind that settles in your chest when you realize you no longer need to prove anything to anyone who left too soon. She didn't ruin me. She revealed me, showed me where I wasn't enough, so I could figure out exactly where I would be more than enough, for myself. Because the truth is, if she never walked out, I might have kept trying to drag her with me. Might have spent my future apologizing for my present. Might have watered myself down so she wouldn't feel like I was falling behind. But she didn't wait. She replaced me. And in doing that, she released me. I didn't climb for revenge. I climbed for clarity. To find out who I really was when no one was clapping, when no one was watching, when no one was standing beside me. And now I lead. Not because someone gave me a title, but because I built something that didn't need their permission. Legacy isn't built by holding on to people who let go. It's built by letting their exit create space for something greater. She replaced me overnight, but I didn't replace her. I outgrew her. And when you outgrow someone, you don't go back to prove they were wrong. You just keep walking so far forward that by the time they turn around, you're unrecognizable.